I am Tom, and this is AC On, the short Alpha Clash podcast, where I talk all things Alpha Clash on my way to work. And this episode is all about spoilers. So the spoiler season is kicking off today, I believe. But we had can you have a preview of a spoiler season? I don't know. We sort of had that. But we'll talk about that. Before that, though, I want to point out three things. One, I'm sorry for the noisy background. Usually it's noisy, but I'm in that car again, the noisy one, so I apologize for that. The second thing is I'm trying to get hold of as many European players as possible. I've loosely been talking to a few about whether we should set up some way of organizing gameplay on Tabletop Simulator. So if you are a European player, even if you are participating in local events or local game store or clubs or whatever, if you want to play some casual games on Tabletop Simulator, hit me up. I am fairly new to the concept of Tabletop Simulator, so which means I haven't tried it, but I know you can play it. I've seen it played on there, but I think we'll figure it out. I prefer physical games, physical cards, but hey, you do what we have to do. So if you're in Europe and you might be interested in some online games of Alpha Clash, hit me up. I am just one pack, just a one, the digit one pack on YouTube, on Instagram, and on the official Alpha Clash Discord server. So feel free to write me, and we'll see if we can figure something out. Sort of in the span of a European time zone. The third and last thing before we start talking about spoilers or preview spoilers, I don't know how you put that, is that we just had today, I saw a closure on a giveaway. So for the as a marketing thing or a hype up, I don't know what to call it, for the Cosmic Encounter board game. Yes, I know I've said it before, there is now a board game, and it's looking better and better. Not that the game changes, but I get to know more and more about it. It sounds really interesting by now. They're making a giveaway every week. I just want to remind you, I think I said it last time, go and find them, the giveaways. They're typically on either Rising Empire Studio or Alpha Class TCG, or on GameFound. Go find them. They have been quite spectacular so far. Sadly, I haven't won yet, at least. So that was the short intro, and now I'm going to rant about the preview spoiler things. So announcing the spoiler season would be kicking off today. Rising Empire Studio released all of the contenders, well, almost all of the contenders for the upcoming set Genesis Return. I say almost because they told us there are 7, and they released 7 contenders. Only 2 of them are still in the Clash kit packaging, so you can't see everything. So I'm not going to comment on those. There's plenty to talk about the 5 others, and I don't want to waffle on for a gazillion years. So I'm just going to touch on the 5 that are there, but head to the Discord, see the menu or see the room with spoiler cards only, and be amazed. And a little bit hungry on building. So here's what came out. So 5 contenders, 1 in each color. That is not spectacular. that is pretty much how we do it. Only there is a few new things here. One is there is a double-sided. There's a double-sided contender. So we got Shadowlight, and if anyone should be two-sided, that should be Shadowlight, obviously, because he is both good and bad. So that makes sense. When he's light, he's white, and when he's in his dark side, he is a black contender, which makes so perfect sense. There is a mechanic around what he can do and what he should do or will do, depending on which state he is in. That is, I think it's a fun mechanic, having this flip side, and you have to sort of time your things right, I think. But it looks like an interesting build more than they might be strong. You know, I don't know. He might be strong, but there are stronger contenders in this set, I almost promise. So, let's go through them. So Shadowlight is there. He's a two-sided contender, and he's... cut it off. He's a two-sided contender, and his abilities goes. I just pulled over so I can read. So on his white side, his light side, he is when you flip this side, flip to this side, switch target clash counts, attack and defense power until the end of turn, which is nice. And Shadowlight clash cards you control gets. This clash card can't be the target of an attack unless the attacking player pays one resource. So now we finally get to say in Alpha Clash, will you pay the one? And the black side, or the dark side of him, sorry, just to say, it's called Shadowlight Bright Beacon and Dark Absence. So I'm not going to tell which colour is which. You can figure that out. So on the dark side, he is, when you flip to this side, if a clash card was returned to your hand from your clash zone this turn, draw one card. Now, and Shadowlight cards get +1, +0, +1, and Torment. What Torment is, I don't know. New mechanic. The thing is, there is no limitation on how many times you can flip. Only it costs you a single resource to flip from one side to the other. So there's your limitation. Once you get below 15 health, you can turn the card over once a turn, meaning you have to engage it. If you can disengage it, unengage it, then you can do more. So that's Shadowlight. I think that is the hardest contender to make good use of the new. The second contender is Moxie, Vanguard of Earth. She is now red and not black, which I presume means that we are going to get a lot of red weapons. Maybe. Anywho, she also, jokingly on Instagram, I called her a Girl Scout, because what she does is the following. Once per turn, when an Alpha Hunter clash card you control is defeated, create a one red badge. I know it's a weapon accessory, but she collects badges now. So if you collect a badge, that means you're a Girl Scout. No, it doesn't. But a red badge weapon accessory token that has attach 1 red, attached clash card get +0, +1, and can attach more, or at least one additional non-token weapon. So you can attach the badge and then attach another weapon still. So definitely a weapon-based strategy. But then again, it's Moxie. There's also an introduction of a new keyword in her, because her 15 ability says clash cards with 2 or more weapons attached get Fortitude, which means that their attack and defense cannot be reduced by effects your opponent controls. So you can still take clash damage, but effects that reduces it does not work. if your opponent controls it. That's a thing. So if you play a clash ground that mingles with that, fine. If your opponent plays a clash ground, it doesn't affect it. Oh yeah, and a clash card with badges on get +1/+0. So then on to the third contender, that is Kagan or Kagan. I don't know, the Eternal Dragon. He is green. He is also weapon-based, but he's contender weapon-based. His ability is that the first time you play or attach a contender weapon during your turn, you may draw one card. But it's only the first time you do this. And he can attach more weapons, up to 4 contender weapons, if they are not the same. Now, I don't know if there are 4 different green contender weapons. I don't think so. I can't recall that it should be, but if there is, then he can attach them all. And of course, there's no limitation in color, and I get that. So you can attach anything, but you have to then run multicolor. And I think that's sort of his strategy. He has a second ability where you can, during your primary phase, can engage him, and if you do, you can choose a contender weapon in your Oblivion, and you can play that card without paying its resource cost. So very, very strong contender here as well. The 4th contender is one I am hoping to pull. I'm probably going to pull him. And I want to build around him with only a mono black deck with almost exclusively clash cards. Why? This is why. Kilimanjaro, Power Erupting, 25 health. They're almost all 25 health though, except Kagan. And the last one, and a 1/0. They're all 1/0s. Now, so Kilimanjaro, Power Erupting, has trigger attack. You may draw one card, then discard one card. If you do, discard a clash card this way. If you discard a clash card this way, then your contender gets +1/+0 until the end of the clash. So, I'm guessing you always want to do that, which means that you get a 2/0 contender almost every time. Why do you want to do this every time? Because of his second ability, his 15 ability. At the start of your turn, you get Magnitude, new keyword. Exactly how that works, I don't know. I don't think we know until there is a rules update. But his ability says Magnitude 10, meaning 10 cards in your Oblivion. Magnitude 10, your contender gains 1 health. Magnitude 15 says you may draw 1 card. And finally, Magnitude 20, Black Alpha clash cards you control get +1/+1 until the end of turn. So what I don't know is if you need to hit that exact mark, or it's a limit. Meaning, if I have 10 cards in my Oblivion, I get it. Magnitude 10 kicks in at the start of my turn. But what if I have 16? Does Magnitude 10 kick in? Does Magnitude 15 kick in? Do they both kick in? Do I get to choose? Or do nothing happen because it has to be exactly the number? That I don't know yet. If it is a limit, so the more cards you have in your Oblivion, the more of these you get. So if you have 16, you get both the Magnitude 10 and the Magnitude 15. Then he is going to be bonkers fun. He's going to be huge to play around with. And I want to build a completely black, only clash card deck, because I want to discard a clash card every turn, and I have to find a way to actually draw up too. But anyway, I want to discard a clash card every turn. I want to swing with my contender every turn. He may be 25 health, but I can swing for 2 every turn. That's a huge thing. Anywho, the last contender, and I know we're running long, but this is worth it. It's the blue contender, is Genesis Emissary of Chaos, and oh my. His ability is once per turn you may play one ready card from your resource zone as if it were in your hand. And if you do, you put a card from your hand into your resource zone. So, what that means is you can play your resources. So, choosing what to play as a resource is usually the hardest decision you make every turn, because you don't want to lose your stuff. But with Genesis, you don't lose it. Whatever big nasty card you got, you just play that to your resource zone. You can play it later. No worries. You haven't lost it. It's not like your late game is hindered by what you played as a resource. But not only that, you don't lose the resource because you replace it with another resource. That is absolutely bonkers. I think he's going to be a very strong contender. Just saying. Oh, and by the way, if that weren't enough, whenever a Genesis card is played from your resource zone, you may activate the portal. So I'm guessing we're going to have a bunch of Genesis Clash cards. Just a wild guess. He is going to be bonkers. His 15 ability almost makes no sense. But I mean, he's powerful enough. But his 15 life ability says, none Clash buff cards you play from your resource zone cost 2 blue less to play. Which means that if you're pushed back under 15, your big heavy hitters just got a lot cheaper. He is absolutely mad, and I want to build with him. I'm guessing we're going to see him, if not on Pro Tour, then at least on Awakenings and Clash Grounds after that. Anyway, that was it for me for this time. Just a final thing, if you're still hanging on, next Monday, you should share this podcast with someone. Next Monday is my Monday, where I get to reveal a card from Genesis Returns. So, yeah, that happened. So, I'm happy to talk to you then. Keep an eye on Just One Pack on YouTube or on Instagram, and be sure to hit me up if you want to play. Talk to you later. Bye.